What's up, fam bam? Welcome back to our channel. Today we are making a yummy appetizer or snack known as fresh lumpia or lumpiang sariwa. First, we are going to make the filling. We need julienne green beans, carrots, sayote or chayote, and sweet potatoes. Some cabbage, minced chicken or shrimp, minced garlic, some garbanzo beans, onions, fish sauce, and a little bit of chicken powder. Let's start sauteing. Turn up your heat to medium-high and add oil of your choice. Of course, we start with the garlic, and then we add the onions. And we just keep stir-frying this until the onions wilt. Then we add in our chicken or shrimp if you prefer shrimp. Add a teaspoon of fish sauce for flavor. A pinch of black pepper. And keep stir-frying this until our chicken turns white. Once our chicken changes color, we can add in our vegetables. Mix everything in so that all the vegetables will be combined together. I recommend using 2 spoons so it'll be easier for you. After a few minutes of mixing it all in together, you may cover it for about 5 minutes to get all the steam in and the vegetables will start to soften up a little bit. So after a few minutes, check on your vegetables to make sure they are not overcooked because we still want that crunch from the vegetables. Then we may add now our cabbage. I normally add the cabbage last because it cooks faster than the others. Like I said, we still want that crunch from the vegetables. Again, we exercise our arms and shoulders, mix it all in so that everything is combined well together. After mixing, we're going to add a little bit of chicken powder for added flavor. And yes, we mix it again. Don't worry if your arms are getting tired and you're making a mess all over your stove. I promise it's going to be worth it. Then we're going to cover it for the last time for 2 minutes just to seal all the flavors in. Then we can taste for texture or adjust any seasonings. We may now turn off our heat and we're going to transfer our vegetable mixture and let it cool off while we work on our homemade lumpia wrapper. We're going to transfer it on a strainer on top of a bowl so that the excess juice will drain out. Oops, I totally forgot to add our garbanzo beans, but that's okay. These are completely fine to eat, so we can just actually mix them in. So we're going to set this aside and let it cool down before we can wrap them. To start our homemade wrapper, we're going to need 2 eggs and we're going to separate the yolks from the egg whites. You may also do these pabalat ahead of time, like a day before if you prefer, because this is actually the most tedious part of making this fresh lumpia. Okay, now we're gonna have to beat our egg whites until they become frothy. You may use your hand, or if you have a hand mixer, that is actually better. Oh yes, work out pa more. I promise you, it's worth it. So my wrist is tired and this is good enough. We see bubbles already, so we can go ahead and combine our egg yolks to our egg whites. On a separate bowl, we're going to dissolve a half cup of cornstarch and 1 cup of cold water. Once the cornstarch is dissolved in the water, we can now combine our egg mixture. We can now start cooking our pabalat or wrapper. Turn your heat to medium-low. For our pan, guys, we are going to need a non-stick and a super lightweight one so that it's easier to maneuver it around. We're going to use a 1/4 measuring cup for the amount of mixture that we're going to need per wrapper. Constantly stir the mixture around because the cornstarch tends to settle at the bottom of the bowl. Okay, so I like to lift up my pan on an angle so that when I pour my mixture down, it can easily spread out. As the pan is hot, it easily sticks to it and it easily cooks. Guys, don't be intimidated if you don't get it perfectly at the first time. This takes practice and I promise you'll get better at it. So this will cook for a few minutes and we're not gonna have to flip it. You're going to know that it's done when it doesn't stick to your pan anymore and you'll see that it slides out. So again, we stir our mixture, we lift up our pan on an angle and we swirl it around and we can just patch the holes. Fam, do not step away from the stove as it cooks pretty fast, and constantly check on your heat. If it's too high, you can just adjust it. Fam, this may take a few practices, but once you get your rhythm going, you'll be good at it and you can make so many other things with this crepe or this wrapper. You can make like desserts and other savory crepes like chicken Florentine and so much more. And we are finally on to our last wrapper. I believe we made about at least 20 pieces of wrappers. Ooh, that took a while to finish. Thanks to my son for volunteering to do my dishes. Yay! Thank you, Tristan. Okay fam, one last thing to cook. We are going to work on our sauce and we're going to need lots of garlic. Peanut butter, soy sauce, white or brown sugar. We're going to add 4 cups of water in a saucepan. Add in the sugar, soy sauce, minced garlic, and mix it all in until our sugar dissolves. You may turn on the heat at this point. I add peanut butter for creaminess and extra sweetness. Whisk it all in to break down the peanut butter, and we're going to let this simmer. On a separate small bowl, we're going to make slurry, also known as cornstarch and water, to make our sauce thicker. Make sure we use cold water so that we don't have lumps, and we're just going to dissolve the cornstarch in the water. Once our sauce starts simmering or boiling, we can slowly add in our slurry, a little bit at a time, to see how thick it gets. After letting it simmer for a couple of minutes, you may now taste it if it needs more peanut butter, sugar, soy sauce, or slurry if you want it thicker. The taste should be more on the sweeter side, but garlicky and a little bit creamy. Okay, second to the last step before we can eat our lumpia. We're going to make garnish or topping. We're going to need 1/3 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of unsalted roasted peanuts, and we're going to put it in a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, it's fine. You can just pound the peanuts and mix it in with the sugar, or you may do this in your blender. It's up to you and you may adjust it however fine you want it. And that's it. We're going to set this aside and use it as topping or garnish. Okay, going back to our vegetable mixture that it's cooled down now, we're going to add a little bit of mayonnaise just for added creaminess. Don't add too much, guys, as a little bit goes a long way. You may always add a little bit more later on. So mix it all in, and then it's ready for wrapping. For beautiful presentation and added nutrients and crunch, we're going to need some greens. You may use any lettuce like romaine or any green leafy lettuce. And of course, we have to make sure that we thoroughly wash and clean them. Yay! We're finally ready to assemble our long-awaited fresh lumpia. We're going to gently lay out our homemade delicate lumpia wrapper, and then half of our lettuce and a serving spoonful of our vegetable mixture, and gently fold it in and roll it up. So it's up to you guys how fat or thin you want your lumpia to be. But I recommend that you don't overstuff your lumpia because our pabalat or wrapper is very delicate and we don't want to rip it or have a hole in it. But I know if that you're like me, even if it has a hole, you will still eat it. Fam, give yourselves a pat in the back. We did it. Here they are. They look so beautiful. We worked so hard on them and we finally get to taste them. And there you have it. I hope you guys try it even though it looks complicated. I know you guys can do it. Thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed our video. And please, if you haven't yet, like, share, and mostly subscribe. And remember, God is good
all the time.
God is good.